Welcome to Case Series. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more courtroom drama.
The defendant has filed this counterclaim, not in this matter, but as a new civil case. So moving forward today does not prejudice her from having those claims heard by a civil judicial officer outside of the summary proceedings today. She'll be able to have those claims heard on a different docket. We are here today because my client has yet to gain possession of this property since purchasing it. He is losing money every single day that the defendant remains in the property. We have substantial attorney's fees here in the amount of $2,005.83. We have costs in the amount of $419.85. These damages were incurred prior to receiving a very lengthy response from the defendant, and the longer this matter goes, the more costs are incurred for my client. We're asking the court today to enter a writ of restitution with judgment, findings and judgment language, and also my client is reserving on any physical damage that may be caused in retaliation for this action to pursue that at a future date. All right, thank you. Mrs. Spinda.
Yes, I am Kat Spinda. This is my land that I have a lodial title on. The defendant, Jared, he had not rebutted my affidavit. I had sent him a notice of liability. And at this time, I choose to remain silent other than the challenging of the jurisdiction, which I requested. We cannot presume or assume jurisdiction. It must be proven in writing. And so therefore, I'm asking for that today. Although I've been railroaded in this system, and there has been no justice in this system from the very beginning, and everything that I have put forward has been completely ignored. And so I just wanted to put all of that on there for the record. The counterclaim is to protect myself, my family, and my animals from harm because of trespass and fraud.
Welcome back to another wild ride through America's most chaotic legal circus. Today, we're diving into part 2 of Kat Spenda's downfall, the eviction hearing. Now, if you thought her last courtroom appearance was a masterclass in delusion, buckle up. Because this time, she's not just fighting the law, she's fighting reality itself. Her house was foreclosed, sold, and legally owned by someone else. But in true sovereign citizen fashion, Kat insists that her loyal title and a stack of meaningless affidavits somehow override Washington state law. What follows is a 15-minute descent into pseudo-legal nonsense, emotional spirals, and courtroom patience stretched thinner than a cheap eviction notice.
I choose at this point to remain silent, and except for the fact that jurisdiction needs to be proved. I am a living woman. I'm not a corporation that they are going after, and Oxeth Investments is a corporation. Only a corporation can go after a corporation, and I am a living woman. And so therefore, the counterclaim is actually against Jared Fielding directly for harming me and my family and moving forward, even though he was provided all the proof and evidence beforehand, but he just ignored it. So I'm hoping today that I will not be ignored and that I motion that this case be dismissed without prejudice and allow my counterclaim to go through to prove the fraud so that we are not kicked out of our home, because there is fraud. And so I leave it to you.
I do, as an initial matter, find that the court does have jurisdiction over this matter. It has to do with the right to possession of property located in Benton County, Washington. I also find that as it currently sits legally, is the plaintiff that has legal right to possession of the property. So
I would like to get jurisdiction in writing. You cannot presume it. I must be able to get that in writing, and I provided all the case law to prove that.
You've made your record. Thank you. And you do have the ability to request appeal or revision of my decision.
Here's where things get legally fascinating and ironically hilarious. The attorney points out that the court actually lacks subject matter jurisdiction over Kat's counterclaim, not her eviction. That's a legal technicality sovereign citizens love to weaponize. Except this time, it works against her. The judge can't even consider her counterclaim because it doesn't belong in this type of hearing. Imagine claiming you have no jurisdiction only to discover that your own nonsense filing is the thing the court can't legally deal with. Classic. The irony here? The system Kat hates so much is the only thing protecting her from wasting even more time.
So now that you've seen this and you saw that she ignored everything, and let me tell you, I put in all of my proof, exhibits A through P, my counterclaim. They don't, the counterclaim shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter if there's fraud going on. It shouldn't matter if they're stealing from the people, if there's crimes against humanity. Megan, you don't care. You know, sometimes I think I'm just too nice. I'm trying to be nice here, okay? I'm trying to talk to people on a level that they would understand. But, you know, these black robes, they don't work for us. And I bet you Megan doesn't even have an oath of office, just like Joseph Burrows doesn't have an oath of office. But we're going to do a request anyway. We're going to start really digging into these people who keep abetting in fraud. So we can add now Megan to the list of abetting in fraud. So that's the way I look at it. They all protect the banks and the corporations. Folks, this is an emergency. And so if you're wondering or thinking what's going on, what's going to happen to Kat and her family and her animals, well, the way it looks right now, they're just moving right along and they don't care whether there's fraud or not. In fact, they know. They know because I've already showed it to them. And she said she read through all of it. So she saw all of my proof. The proof that the banks provided nothing, that I was frauded. I provided all of it, just like I've showed all of you. But see, the truth doesn't matter in court. As we continue to march in the truth, this is what I want to share with you. The truth wins no matter what. No matter what happens, no matter what they do or what they think they're going to do, driving around in their helicopters and everything, driving by, you know, all the NPCs are closing in. But I'm not going to be afraid. I'm not going to sweat or worry, shed one tear. Ask me if I shed a tear. Nope, no tears. This is serious. This is very serious. What's happening in the courtrooms with me, with Trump, and all of the people that I know that are getting their cars stolen from, their children stolen from, their homes, their boats stolen from. We're going to have to start looking at some of this from maybe a different angle. And we now call upon the military to do their job and to step in.
Now enters Kat, the self-declared living woman who apparently thinks saying that phrase out loud makes her immune to eviction. Her defense? This is my land. I have loyal title. That's not how deeds, liens, or foreclosure work at all. Notice how she invokes notice of liability, affidavits, and fraud without ever providing real evidence. It's textbook sovereign citizen language, a word salad of legal-sounding terms used to confuse rather than convince. And when logic fails, she falls back on the classic, I remain silent routine, which she immediately breaks 30 seconds later.
Because I have proven, and you can clearly see, that they do not work for us, that they're going to adjudicate against the people no matter what. It does not matter what the truth is. So let me know what you think. Put your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you think about Miss Whitmire and her ruling. Even though I have a lodial title, even though I am the owner or superior title holder of my land, and it will be my land forevermore until I pass it on to my family, or when I decide to transfer it to somebody else, because we can't own land. God is the one who created it, and he made it for us so that we could have wonderful, prosperous lives, enriching lives. But they're trying to steal it all away. And you can tell by all of the taxes, everything going up, you're seeing more police on the street. They're getting more narky. You're even seeing the malls now with mall cops, way more mall cops now than ever before. So it's even the toys at the mall that I is here, the Columbia Center Mall, all the toys that used to be like a horse and a buggy and an elephant. Now it's a cop car and a helicopter and a, you know, it's all of these response unit type of vehicles.
Well, it's the programming. See, it went from this to that, and here we go. So, anyways, I'm going to ask everyone here, if you have been following me, I really at this time need your support. And it doesn't matter how that support is, whether it's financial support, because I've been doing this for 3 years, pretty much on my own dime. I would really appreciate that.
At this point, Kat doubles down on the living woman claim, as if that somehow exempts her from state property law. She argues that only corporations can go after corporations. Here's the problem. Foreclosure law doesn't care whether you're a corporation, a cat, or a cactus. If you stop paying your mortgage and someone buys your property, it's theirs. Period. Her attempt to motion for dismissal without understanding that this is a summary eviction hearing shows her total disconnect from reality. You can't counterclaim your way out of losing a house you no longer legally.
This is going to come to a head because I'm exposing it. I don't know too many other people exposing it the way I am, as far as showing you everything that's going on along the way. So if you could share this video, get the message out, however you can, to tell people that all debt is fraud, that the banks provide nothing, and yet we are all slaves. And you can see how all of the minions of the system start closing in, because that's how they get paid, and they have no problem doing that. So anyways, I just wanted to just give you the short update. I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I have been working and working very hard, and I've got some people I'm helping right now. But we need to stick together. And if we could make our voices heard in any way possible, if you could show your support, and we need to start making some noise. Otherwise, these people and their plan, it may be with me now, but it might be you later when you can't afford your life anymore. And that's where we are right now. But I've talked to so many people who, even people who paid off their homes, and they can't afford the property taxes. So it just all gets stolen. Yeah, that's not okay. So the truth wins no matter what. Even though these lawyers, liars in the system, these administrators or so-called judges, or I guess commissioners in the system who just adjudicate, you go in there and yeah, you're pretty screwed. Now we pretty much knew that was going to happen. And again, I have been walking this walk